Thanks, Cesar. I noticed I guess my phone isn't hooked up. Okay, that's why. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. Thank you for joining us today. It looks like we've got primarily so far Americas, India folks on the call, and so as others join, let's welcome them to this conversation about opportunities that are going on in, around, and connected to the country of India. One of the most exciting data points that I've seen in the last few months has been the foreign direct investment increase in India. A lot of that being a result of the world reevaluating China and the supply chain there. But beyond that, there's many other factors, as I'm sure we'll be hearing today, that are causing India to have a significant increase in business, export business, foreign direct investment, and other. And so we're looking forward to hearing more. Our keynote speaker today is Manoj Gursahani, and Manoj is one of those Renaissance people. He's not only a successful business person, but very involved in all sorts of organizations, including nonprofits. He's involved in the community. He's involved with the world at large. He's an author. And so we're looking forward to his book. It's available in India. I've seen the website. So congratulations, Manoj, on the book. In LinkedIn, he's been teasing us with pictures of some of the pages, but those of us outside of India are looking forward to being able to read the full book. Some of you may or may not know, maybe a couple of you know, that Manoj now is taking over as the executive director for Global Chamber Mumbai. Aparna Ranadive has started the chapter, and that was actually a very memorable start for me because of at least two factors, maybe three. Number one is Mumbai is a critically important city around the world for everyone, and especially for Global Chamber. We're building out in 525 cities around the world. Mumbai is one of the most important of all of those. And so when that started, that was very exciting. Number two was one of my good old friends, Vinod Bimrajka, was part of that event. And so I'm looking forward to hopefully reconnecting with him over the coming months and years, and his family and his extensive connections. And I've already spoken a little bit about that to Manoj, about finding ways to do that. I know him through my work with DuPont. That's why I used to come to India quite a bit. And then third, that made that memorable was it was about 1 a.m. for me, or maybe 2 a.m. I actually very vividly remember going to the office, and my wife, in the early days of Global Chambers, saying something like, "You're crazy. What are you doing?" And I did not deny what she was telling me that I am. And so I am crazy for business. I'm crazy for success. I'm crazy for trade. And I'm definitely crazy and a strong supporter of Manoj Gursahani. Thank you, Manoj, for leading us today. We look forward to hearing from you, and then hopefully we can hear from all of you in terms of the response you have to Manoj's comments and anything else you'd like to add. We'll plan to finish up at the top of the hour in India at 5 p.m., which is in about 41 minutes. Manoj, thank you so much for your time. Please, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Doug, and hello to everybody. First of all, Doug, I'm happy and privileged to be part of the Global Chamber as an executive director of Mumbai. And I would work very closely with Aparna and the team here because, as you rightly said, she started the ways, and we would happy to lead that. And as Shankar was mentioning, and I'll just show this book, which is being launched by 6 o'clock Mumbai time today. And so and this is my anchor is going to announce that there are two important things happening. One is a book launch and one is my executive director position in Mumbai. So we're going to play that on, use that opportunity because we're going to get some media out of that. So that's one part. So what I don't want to, the more important aspect I want to talk about, and I was telling Doug, is India story, we can Google and find out. We know there is a huge success story. China plus one. India is certainly getting a lot of made in India manufacturing. People are eyeing our country to, build here. There is the ESG. There is what I call it ABCD, cloud computing, blockchain, all those things, data lakes, everything is happening while we speak because we have the best technology guys. And also in terms of healthcare, post-COVID, the number of health apps and the number of health tech startups which have increased is huge. We are a large startup-based economy and lots of startups happening in each sector, fintech, health tech, and as my other Indian friends would know who are from the various chapters in India. So I think it's never been a better time. The body language has changed very positively. And I think for all of us, so what I want to step on and talk about is that how can we leverage a fabulous platform like Global Chamber? So, and I will spend my time on that. So we have, as we talk, as counting, we have 525 cities. I think the power of that is very strong. I've seen various chambers of commerce. I've seen various things, but nobody has such a large, all-inclusive global presence. So what I was telling Doug is, like, somehow we, as Global Chamber, whether it is G20 happening in India or wherever else, what is happening in India, we should be sitting on the table in the conversation. Each ED head on each city, and we each cities should start talking to each other more cohesively and find out who our end client is. So there are two aspects to this. Our end client in terms of members are the SME and the MSME. There could be larger clients also who would like to be member of Global Chamber of Commerce, because I think the primary opportunity or at least our mission should be to make that membership grow. As the membership grows, the multiplier effect happens, and then more members connect with each other, business happens. As we talk about 1 degree of separation, we want to make that possible at Global Chamber. That's my mission as far as concerned. Number two, once we create those sideline opportunities, we could do subjects on ESG, pharma, technology, health tech, startups, etc. Once we do that, we create sideline conversations, we create panel discussions, and that increases the opportunity to get more sponsorships. We engage corporates to come in. So when we talk about pharma, we can have large pharmaceutical companies to come in and sponsor. We could do hybrid events, virtual as well as physical events, a phygital event as we call it in today's time. And I think we have to demonstrate. So what does an average SME look at? The average SME cannot go to the big 5 companies for consulting. So I would like to add another angle to that. I'm making it a very practical pitch. So tomorrow, if a family office, which is a couple of let's say about $10-20 million plus, wants to do something, what are they looking at? Growth areas, whether it's a nutraceutical tie-up they want in any part of the world. So it's either a product or service. Everyone is selling a product or service, both sides. So if we can be that single point where they reach out to us and they said, okay, there is obviously everything we can't do, but this is the point as far as B2B connection is concerned, we will find a way to connect you. And more importantly, more than the online connect, we as physical chapters can do offline conversations. We can do one-on-one meetings. Whenever we have, that's where I want to emphasize, every month or whatever, depending on the bandwidth, we keep having meetings in our respective cities. We create communities around it. We create conversations around it. So when the members feel, besides online, they are also being called for such events. For example, I was telling that there is Indo-German Chamber of Commerce. We would like to, each one of us should partner with all the local chambers of commerce. Because what happens, each of these chambers of commerce have some delegation coming in or the other. So our member might not get an invite, but we should ensure that through our membership and the partnership, they get a seat on the table in the conversation, in the conference room, in the meetings. So if I'm a member and I'm putting myself in the shoes, if I have to pay an annual fee or renew the annual subscription or see value add, then I see, oh, I'm getting invited. I'm getting the conversation. The door is being opened. We find out what the statement is. And I'm sure all of us have been in business consulting some stage or the other and done our own thing. What does a client want? So when I define a client, it could be a family office, it could be MSME, as I mentioned. What do they want? They want handholding. They want sometimes, and I've realized in India, knowledge, what we call it, the Indians will understand the gyan, what we call it. There is enough. There is enough of that. There is a lot of people have knowledge. Otherwise, they can Google and find it out. Okay, what they need is solid connections, solid referrals, hand-on, hand-on, hand-holding kind of thing. So, for example, let's say we are dealing. I was talking to somebody who's he's at a coffee plantation, okay, and out of Bangalore, out of south of India, and he said, "Listen, we want to expand our coffee shop to other parts of the world. Okay, can you tell us which country we can get into? Whatever else." I said to him, "Yes, sir, we can do everything possible, but we require you to become a member. Second, get a mandate on what your exactly needs are." So the more specific we understand, more than just enrolling a member, if we understand their pain point and add value, trust me, people will queue up for us to become members of our global chamber. That's what we should collectively do. And as I said, and Shankar mentioned that I'm a mentor. I don't think anybody, we are all mentors of each other. We are all students of life. We all have to learn from each other. As long as our purpose is one single focus, increase the membership, increase number of chapters, which can make meaningful contribution, and ourselves be active. Because I have been on the other side, members of various chambers of commerce. All I get is a newsletter once a month and maybe once in 6 weeks to talk about, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. I think nobody's interested in that. I'm not saying don't do the newsletter. The newsletter continues to do. But in addition to that, we need to have, as I said, physical presence, talk to them, have a virtual chat, have a one-on-one chat. So I know I'm circling around the same point, but the key factor is how do we leverage? How many Indian MSMEs know that there is a forum like Global Chamber available and the power? Our videos and the training which I'm also going to go through, if we can have smaller videos, increase our presence on social media, so then people know. Tomorrow, any chamber having anything, so I'm coming to other part. G20 happens. Right now, India is leading that way. There are so many side conversations happening there. I know FICCI, other chambers of commerce are part of the table. The logos are there on the backdrop. Their representatives are called to talk about it. We should be there on the table, whether it's ESG, climate change, sustainability, whatever. So they should see us as champions of change, how we can influence the thing. And every country, like let's say in India today, with the Made in India story, they're looking at investors. So the Indian clients who are looking at investors, okay, yesterday I'll tell you, I spoke to a very large medical company based out of Bangalore again and again. And they told me they have all these things, they have offices, they have products distribution, everything. What are they looking for? They're looking for scale, and they want to raise about $30 million, just for example. Okay. And honestly, when I heard their story, I felt it is very compelling enough. Told him, we'll sign an NDA, send the deck, get into details. Now imagine if we have such a thing like this, why can't we then use our network to reach out to those investment bankers or funds available who are looking at opportunity in investing in India? So we can become that bridge. I'm saying expanding our thinking on just beside membership, there's expand our thing think like an investment banker. We are connecting the dots. We have the platform, and how can we leverage that? I think if we can do that couple of years down the line, or even this year, and because India is shining, we talked about China issues, we talked about China, Taiwan issues, the Ukraine war, geopolitical, I don't get into because we all are much aware. Okay, but because of all that, again coming back to India. So in my summary, I would say there are two opportunities. One is those who want to come in India. We should be the touch point for them to enter India, give them advice, introduce them to CPAs, chartered accountants, solicitors, lawyers, whom they want to. And hopefully, if they are our members, we should ensure that our members get the first kind of referral. Likewise, they want to meet any state government. Another angle is we should respectively try to start engaging with various state governments in India, because each state government, like the US has a program called Select USA, because each state is fighting for their share of the thing, right? In Gujarat is fighting with Maharashtra. But as global chambers, as we go on engaging with various state governments, they will ensure that anything happening, they'll invite us. Because what are we telling them? We have a strength of the global platform, which we can get funds, we can get knowledge, we can get technology to India. And the second flip side, as I already mentioned, to our members, those who are looking out of India, it's not easy to get a connect. And when we have the power of soft connecting, making the call if that is not happening, which Doug and Caesar and his team would do for us, I think then we have a great win-win situation. I can go on, but I'll pause here.
Fantastic. Thank you, Manoj. I came up with 7 points that you made there. One of the key things there I heard you say was over and over, which I totally agree, grow membership. And a lot of that is done by being at the table. Number 2, having a presence. Number 3, work with every size company, understand which small companies and what their needs are, but also have big companies. And we've already talked about Aditya Birla as an example, and Shrajit, very large company, but why not? Why can't they be a member? You talked about different segments, and particularly pharma and health tech and many of the growing areas. You talked about being active in the cities, and you talked about collaborating across the cities as well. So having events and conversations like this across all of India that involves the world, but also having events within the cities. And then finally, number 7, you talked about interacting with governments. And we found in other chapters that works very well because there's an ecosystem here, right? There's the companies, there's the universities, there's the economic development organizations, there's the government itself that's working. I see Aruna Herkadi from Surya Datta is in the room, and that's a very important university that's a relatively new sponsor at Global Chamber. Maybe are you available, Aruna, to make any comments based on what you've heard so far, or any other comments that you'd like to make? Shankar, you I think have been working with Aruna. Is there anything that you would like to say, kind of pre-staging the conversation? Oh, Shankar's in the car. So Aruna, we were talking earlier, Shankar is driving right now. Are you available to say anything, Aruna, please? Let's see, you're mute. Oh, you're coming off of mute, so that's good. Sorry to surprise you. Hi there. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah, your voice is coming through. Are you there? We might have to come back to you. So we'll come back to Manoj, and Aruna will come back to you as well until you get your voice and working. And so Manoj, in terms of the summary that I laid out there, is that fairly accurate? And then anything else you'd like to say, and then we'll what would you like to do next? Would you like to open the floor? What would you like to do?
Yeah, so I think that you summarized it very well. And these are bullet points. This could be the charter which we work on, and which we should drive on. And my next thing would be, how can we communicate on a monthly basis, initially, maybe more, with the Indian local chapter heads, EDs, so that each one of us can interact with each other. Also, there could be some leads the Delhi guy could have for Mumbai, which we could drive. The Mumbai guy could have for Bangalore. So that way, cross-refer each other, because we have to start thinking as a collective team. The success of Global Chamber is our success. And people have to literally, the way I look at it, respect us. Oh, Global Chamber is inviting us for a meeting, we should be there. Work with trade commissions across the country. Various countries have, I will open it up from Mumbai point of view. And if I feel, let's say Shankar benefits from Gujarat, I'll definitely open it up, because India is broken up into various, for consulates is Western Europe, Western India, Northern India, etc., Southern India. But all we have to say is our mindset has to be of cooperation between the ED heads, not only in India, all over whenever possible. And I think there is one such meeting coming up, because it's the first time I'm doing an ED meeting. So with this, how can we collaborate, cross-refer, and also, one more important point, successful case studies we can table. So let's say we had a success story. Can we share that? What happened? How did it transform? How did the guy who became a member saw the return on investment in terms of benefit? It could be a connection, it could be whatever. So I'm just saying, laying that ground, but I would initially maybe restrict to the 7 points which you mentioned about, Doug, and take that on, and then we will slowly, start walking, and then, walk on the path. And I'm with that happy to open the conversation to the rest of the panels.
Please feel free to either raise your hand or just unmute yourself and make any additional comments. Lokesh, I see you have some comments to make. Thank you and welcome, Lokesh. Parashar is a significant, important business leader in India as well, based in Delhi. What would you like to say, Lokesh? Welcome.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you, Manoj. I 100% sync with your thoughts that action speaks more than the words, like newsletters or papers. We must use our powerful connections in different various states, even countries, as Global Chamber. However, what we need is a calendar of events at the country level and at the state level. And for that, we need to form teams of all activities. Let's say a team can be made for physical and online or those kind of events. Industry-wise, we can create certain groups which can focus on their activities. By the way, let me introduce myself I see a couple of people. I'm an expert authority on international business consulting for labor-intensive MSMEs to scale their export house businesses from India. I also assist these MSMEs in their payment recovery from Indian companies as well as international business defaulters through a network of 76 plus legal consultants in different countries. We hire local legal lawyers in those countries to recover payment. Currently, we have done almost $2 million of recoveries for Indian exporters. My USA consulting is providing support to medium and large exporters of home and gift category to set up a US-based wholesale business and sell the home decor and gift product from Indian perspective. Currently, I'm a spokesperson at the Federation of Buying Agents, FBA. It's a pan-India Federation of Sourcing Consultants, works closely with Delhi government on few initiatives. And that's where I would say that I can be a good connector with the business side when we are talking about Delhi government, or even let's say Punjab government, because they both are from one political party. And we can take up those challenges with these states. How do we scale up their business side of the challenges with these new people who are looking for right connections and right support from the industry? We can be the solution to them. My vision for Global Chamber is, as Manoj rightly said, I represented and keep representing Federation of Buying Agents at the Board of Trade meetings by the central government. So Manoj, you must be knowing, Doug and for others, there is a supreme body of trade bodies which meet every quarter in India and is chaired mostly by Commerce Minister and sometimes even Finance Minister. And these Board of Trade meetings are the top level trade bodies are invited as industry to share thoughts on visions, challenges, problems of their respective trades. Let's have a Global Chamber invitation also arranged on that Board of Trade meeting. That's the highest body of any trade bodies in India. Second vision would be to promote Make in India and Made in India initiative, because that's what we have been doing at FBA. And yes, and partnership with other trade bodies. That's very important, because we are new, but there are several others who are 60, 70, 100, more than 100 years old as well. And they know much better than what we know. But we have the strength. We ourselves are a core body of professionals. We understand what we are doing. and they'll be very happy to correlate with us. So we have had good experience with them. And that's what I think is the vision I see at Global Chambers. Thank you.
Thank you. And what I heard there was you seconded the motion, and particularly, and I added an eighth, Manoj, which was, I don't think I fully captured, and that is actions, not words, and actions meaning results, and then publishing and communicating those success stories. The success stories we have almost on a daily basis are really exciting. I'm not sure we communicate very effectively in terms of what those are, and those are really great thought starters for other people to better understand what we're doing. And we're not one of those organizations. Certainly we don't want to be one of those organizations that just is a lot of puffery. We do just want to continue to be very focused in on having an impact, making connections that grow business. So agree with both of you. What other comments do people have? Manoj or anybody else in the room? Either unmute yourself or raise your hand. Happy to call on you. Who would like to go next?
Andres is one.
Hi, Andre. Welcome. Andre, you've had a very significant year, haven't you?
Very true.
A very exciting year of change. We'd love to hear. I know a little bit about it, but maybe you should share as well. I don't know how many of the folks here know Andre, now based in Pune, but a year ago you were sitting in Moscow, weren't you?
True, Doug. So we have started a dialogue about how to facilitate the global outreach from the technology first and foremost point of view, because like the Western capacity in technology exchange is tremendous. So I'm myself an ex-diplomat. I was serving for 3 years in Delhi, and I was also country in charge for 5+ years roughly. So, and presently we have decided to get focused on the Indian projects, and we decided to choose Pune as our base, as the most we can say growing industrial hub infrastructure wise. And right now there is a proof. Like today itself, I was driving to the airport to meet my partners from abroad. Like there is a working group on infrastructure happening in Pune right now these days, G20. So Pune is becoming like a very visible city, and I would like to I would like to underline what Manoj and Lakesh, I think they have already touched upon. So like, but let's try to make it a little bit more structured, maybe with my little fingers help. So here, if we speak about how to bring value to the chamber, in most of the cases, this is about the direct output. So Manoj and Lakesh, like we're absolutely right that the value should be in the team job, it should be in the track record, in the way we handle the things. Actually, we should be good handlers. This is very much important. So, but also we need to have tools of direct impact. So like whatsoever we have directly, whatsoever we can plug into our chambers, we can say infrastructure, soft infrastructure, that will help a lot. To be precise, if we know that there is like the database of the technologies which are presently needed, if we have the outreach to direct tenders or off tenders, sometimes even PPP projects. So like if we can indicate the direct demand of the country, and if we can facilitate, hand-holding is the right word actually, entering into the country by the foreign technologies, foreign businesses, that will be a great thing, because like even from the financial point of view, we are right now focused on financial facilitation. We have a lot of partners who are observing closely what is happening in India, but they do not enter. So like they are psychologically ready to think about investing, but they are not investing. There is no investments per se. So like this process is about quality job, how we can facilitate the process, first and foremost. Second thing, like if we reverse the game, if we observe what Indian businesses uh, can be demanding. So we are trying to get focused on the borderline of MSMEs and corporation. So, and if we have several cases of people who have actually grown with our help, this or that way, like either by direct hand holding or by direct financing or by introducing a good membership base from abroad or by cross connecting throughout India, whatsoever. So like if we have not only we can say small guys, medium guys, big guys, but if we have guys who are about to be big, this is very interesting. So this can be the process that we can bring to the table, and I can only like handshake Manoj and Lakesh about their inputs, that it should be done in collaboration. We should work like a lobby, we can say. Yes, so whatsoever we can strengthen, we need to do that. And third point, from the point of the government, so government needs convenience. So like, and there are bottlenecks where government just cannot work efficiently, regardless of which government like we touch upon. It can be Indian government, federal stage. It can be like, we can say like state government, whatsoever state is that. And if we speak from the foreign perspective, it can be foreign government that can be interested in like signing something with India, in moving something in India. So like there are bottlenecks. We need to understand that, and we need to pass that possibility to each other also. It is about good database quality exchange, and both on the ground job and like distant events. So these are my inputs, and we are preparing actually for having this inner infrastructure for Pune chapter. And only then we would like to launch while having these tools of direct impact. So like our plan is to pull the trigger in February already. Hopefully we should be ready by then. So like there should be a certain effort of the backend team, which is also absent here, and of mine, of course, also. And I'm glad that we have new faces here. Manoj, thank you for your inputs. So like we have exchanged with a partner, and right now I think that we can also exchange like in that ecosystematic way, and that will be a great story. Thank you, Doug.
Fantastic, thank you. Manoj, would you like to react to both Andre and Lokesh, their comments, please?
I think both are, we are all in the same page, and I'm glad that we are thinking along similar lines. And, I would obviously want to continue that dialogue with all of us offline also, and see how we can, put that whatever charter we have, and whether whatever we mentioned, and capture that. And somehow what I feel works is, just in addition to Andre and, what we were mentioning about, is that how we can keep on what I've seen, the power of offline meetings. And it doesn't have to be expensive. I'll just put that out. Sometimes, uh, it's for all of our consumption. Let's say we're doing it at some, let me take an example of Pune, Andre. And Pune, what we have seen in India, if Pune, you don't have to go for 5-star hotels, you take a Pune club. Okay, there are a lot of members, at least I know, who are part of Pune Club. They have these small, rooms, and enough rooms. We can start with roundtable conferences there. Doesn't cost a lot. Okay, and even if there is small thing, I can always have somebody to, sponsor tea, coffee, whatever. We can get that format going, so it doesn't become out of pocket for those who don't want to spend. But moment you get them on meetings like this, take a subject, take a nice topic, just start these smaller content. At that time, we get somebody senior like Doug or some whoever, depending on the availability, if there is a theme, form some various parts of the world. Then that gives that presence that we are a large international body. So I think if having these small meetings offline, that then converts to membership, that also gives a one-on-one, and each one of us can do that. We can do it at our homes. I mean, I do that regularly at my house, depending on if suppose somebody has a limitation of space in their house, then do it at a local, smaller clubs. I think that builds engagement. That builds, and if we have videos of presentations which Doug will share. So before a meeting, when we get into a round table, make maybe a 10-minute whatever is going on, on thing, we just put it up on the screen, share the video of thing, give a introduction of thing by an AV format to those who are attending, and most of them currently, because we don't have great membership strength in each of the city, would be non-members. But that's the way to engage them. Out of 10 people, if 2 people become members, and out of that, 1 gives us an opportunity to engage with them and taking it further, that's a good hit rate. I like to pause there.
Thank you very much. Who else would like to comment?
I would like to say, Andre, you can go ahead.
Shankar, go ahead. You made it to your office, didn't you?
Oh, I'm actually at a different place. There's a place called the Entrepreneur Development Institute. I'm supporting them for their startups and giving them, various inputs in how to get funding going. So I was listening to all the comments, and I feel so excited that Manoj has joined actively, and his inputs are invaluable in terms of making it all practical. And India culturally definitely wants to meet people face to face and have these meetings. I have it continuously in my office. And taking on from what Manoj and the others said, we would sit offline and see how we can co-create this. And I think the power of Global Chamber brand is increasing as we have 5 cities. I'm proud to say to my friends and associates that we have this, fantastic team who are highly qualified in the global arena, and I can reach out and we can. In fact, it gives me the opportunity to promise even bigger things going by everybody's qualification and experiences as a global chamber executive. Would like to create these events which are so practical for my clients here. I always wanted to have a consulting vertical with Global Chamber and see how that could work out. I will discuss that with Manoj and see if that is an opportunity that we could be working together on. And like the government plays a very important role and want to integrate Global Chamber, there is something called the Index B here, the Industrial Extension Bureau. We want to let them know the power of 525 network and what the government always tries to seek and do. We are right here. We just want to make that real opportunity, connect with them and give them the resources that we have globally and explain to them how we do it. And sometimes we can do the cross metro as if in person. Even I would like to invite Manoj or anybody else from Delhi and Bangalore and see if we can, as a team, meet with the government, see how we can actually give them the deliverables that we are talking about. So totally in sync with all and everything that we've been talking about. It's just that I know 2023 will be a new dimension with Manoj joining and bringing his resources as an American US-India chamber, which we have been part of. Now we can even do much better. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Shankar. I see also we've got a couple hands up, and Santosh, maybe we need to go to you next. Santosh Raghavan is the new executive director for Bengaluru, and thank you for joining today. One of the really strong attractions that we've seen in his background is the work and the trade work that you've been involved with. So thank you for joining today. What comments would you like to make, please?
Thanks, Dog. Just a couple of points, which the reason I'll tell you of joining Global Chamber on the back of my mind was basically to have a international community when you are into international trade. So that's the whole point why I wanted to join Global Chamber, and that's how I sent you an email that I wanted to become a part of you, and then precisely we had a trailing emails on becoming an executive director and so on and so forth. So mostly as a person who is into international trade myself and holding my offices in almost like 3 nations today, So what I look at is basically a kind of an update in each country. Let's say, for example, might be in Gulf or might be in Asia or might be in Europe, might be in southern parts, where we try to understand what is the scope and opportunities for the new entrepreneurs or existing entrepreneurs or globalizations, or what is that we can give out to them, so that that becomes one of the attracting factors for the members to join in and have an interactions and precisely take it up onto the membership part, because that plays an important role in terms of emphasizing what are we up to into the global markets. So yeah, that's something which I want to mention, and thanks for this opportunity. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Lokesh, your hand is still up. Is it because it's from before, or do you have another comment, please?
I have another comment. So
Please,
based on
please
what Shankar said and the other speakers have spoken, I think whosoever has now volunteered to be ED of their region, let's create a small WhatsApp group of those EDs. And as Shankar said, we need to invest our time, resources. So meeting is, of course, very, very interesting, especially when we have G20 happening, 9 state elections happening in 2023, in 2024 is a big election in India. Why I mention elections is because the governments become very receptive and very positive when you are giving them support during the pre-election support. I would say that we are going to work with you on business. We're going to work with your MSMEs. We have various initiatives which can help the MSME community, and they are at the lower side of their reception at that time. And if we can create impact on those states, especially the ones which are going, the bigger states like Karnataka, or I think Jharkhand is going, especially the bigger state, I would say, leave apart northeastern. We can definitely, even Rajasthan is also going, I think, under the election now. So that is the way we can create a presence for Global Chamber. And for that, I encourage that we should have a regular meeting. We can rotate it once in Mumbai, once in Delhi, once in Bangalore, and also sync it with some international or national event happening in that city, and try and get, as Manoj said, seat on the table. At least we should meet, and one of us can represent in that conclave or conference or whatever is happening in that city, so that we have things going on.
Okay,
Just
that
a
makes a
suggestion.
lot of sense. And the point you make about WhatsApp groups, many of the chapters have their own WhatsApp group within their own metro. And then I think beyond that, you're suggesting having the main metros in
EDs,
India.
yes, the
have a
EDs or the
communicate.
senior management people who really want
Yeah.
to contribute with their time, money, effort. They might not be ED, but they are looking at a larger chunk to contribute. And I would rather refrain from going to WhatsApp. It should be Telegram, because I don't see Global Chamber to 500 people in one group. I see Telegram being 50,000 people. So maybe Slack or Telegram would be the best platform for you.
I totally agree. And then it just the leadership globally. Also, we have a WhatsApp group, and that one, is fairly large. It's still under 200 though in terms of being in the group. So within the region, I think you should be able to figure that out, and we'll be happy to help in any way that we can. But we only have about 10 to 15 minutes left, and I know there's still some of you who haven't spoken yet, so we'd love to hear from any and all of you.
One last thing which I forgot.
Yeah.
We can also use the technology, as Manoj said, that we can have a team of social media, and especially we should make use of the Meetup group. I think we have a Meetup group or no, I'm not sure about it, but let's have a Meetup group owned by Global Chamber. Meetup works globally, and when you are hosting events, all you need to do is post your event on the Meetup group. All our members are on the Meetup, and then this Meetup, as an organization, using the algorithms, spread the word around the world. I think they have 70 million people or something using global Meetup globally. So it's a very, very nominal investment from a trade body. I believe I own the Meetup and I pay $60 for 6 months, so not even $10 a month. And when you post your events, your meetings there, you tend to grow your adding more people. They join your group, and that's what our main aim is. How do you create the larger base for global chamber as non-members, and then you convert those non-members by benefits to members.
Yeah, I agree. Aruna, are you available yet to speak? And if not, that's fine as well. And I also want to make sure we hear from Harold as well, who got up the earliest of all of us, or other than maybe me. Harold or Aruna, are you available to chat? I see you, Harold. Are you able to unmute? Can you talk?
Absolutely, Doug. Happy morning and happy morning, friends. And I'm quite impressed with Manoj, Santosh, Lokesh, and everybody's feedback. I just feel like how I can contribute to this Global Chambers Mumbai. And I was just thinking, like, I keep coming to India, and I know that all long journeys start with a small step, but I'm going to initiate and get universities or colleges in India connected to global chambers, because I feel if the concerned delegate, because I do a lot of presentations in universities, and universities, I don't know, this is just my feedback. I want your feedback that the students are the future game changers of the universe, so that's all, Doug. I'm really happy to be here. And whenever I get an opportunity, I would definitely like to be a part and participate plus contribute on this particular platform. And I really find it very inspiring that like human labor trafficking happens all over the world. It's a $150 billion industry. And I think you're on the very good platform, like for me to connect and collaborate and ensure that that labor trafficking does not happen. I was very amazed. I forget the name, like he said that they did some $2 million recovery all across on labor. So that was very inspiring and very touching. So thank you, Doug. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Harold is a leader in human trafficking and is quite famous, not just in the US, but around the world for the initiatives that you've created. So thank you so much for all that you do. Keep up the great work. RT, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I think you were trying to unmute. Do you have some comments that you'd like to make, please? Welcome. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you, certainly. Well, good morning and good evening to everyone, and a very happy new year, because I'm joining after a long time. Sorry for that. I've been busy with my pharma event, but it's really great to see all of you again. And now I'll try to be little regular in the Mumbai meets at least. And yes, I feel we have to gear up with because I belong to the B2B networking industry. I feel the only way to promote and reach out and grow our network of GCs in a way to, through the networking events, at least through each of our network, and talk about it and grow the network. That should be the main. And I think activities have been very few last year. So we should plan some good activities over here where the network can come together online or offline, whatever, whichever way it is possible. I would do that. I always promote Global Chambers through my events. I put the logo and I try to put in the word that I am the advisory member. So in a small way, I'm trying to do and reach out to the network and try to introduce Global Chambers. But in this year, I think we need a little strategic planning for doing so, is what my feedback is.
Totally agree. And, what we will be working with the new executive directors on this month and next is we kind of have a three-legged stool that we talk about for each chapter. Number one is have an advisory board and build the advisory board, have at least 10 people on there. And the largest advisory board right now is 55 leaders. And it's going to be probably about 65 at the end of this year. So somewhere between 10 and 65 leaders that are impactors, that are doers, that are action oriented, that are positive and professional and honest and ethical and work together with each other to help build each of the chapters. That's a real key. That's number one. And we have a long way to go in India with really every chapter to be able to build that. Number two is have events. and be active. There needs to be something there. We're not an event organization, but we do events. And a lot of that is to get people together and to market the organization. If you don't do events, people have a harder time understanding what you're doing. It's just
Absolutely.
the reality. So we have to do events, and so we'll continue to do events. And Manoj, you talked about ramping that up, and I agree, as with Artie mentioned. And then finally, membership. And the point I think I don't remember who made it. Maybe Lokesh, it was you, about like with the meetups and others and bringing people in. That I no question. The formula for that is still being determined, and I'll give you an example. In Cote d'Ivoire, in Abidjan, they have a meetup group with lots of people, and there's lots of people coming in, and they're being exposed to Global Chamber. It also creates a lot of noise. And speaking of noise, somebody is I think it might be you, Shankar. Yep, it was. So I had to mute you because you've got a little noise on your end, but we'll feel free to unmute in a moment. So the good news is opening up the door, if you will, brings more in, and we need that. We want that. On the other hand, it does take some effort locally and globally to work through that, because there is noise and there are people that don't fit the Global Chamber model, particularly in Africa, quite honestly. So it's just kind of the way it is, and it's everywhere. It's in the US and everywhere else. Speaking of Africa, before we finish, I would like to, if Nihi, you're available to chat. Nihi Sanusi is actually in Africa. He's in Lagos, Nigeria. He's a longtime member. Thank you for your ongoing support. He's someone everybody should know if you're doing business in Africa. He's a trusted resource. When I talk to people about the world and where the main opportunities are right now, I say India, number one, and number two, Africa. Two main regions where there's population growth and a significant amount of business activity over the next decades, where everyone should be involved. Nihi, are you available just to introduce yourself, and do you have any comments that you'd like to make, please?
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure on being in any Global Chamber event. I was sent an invitation, so I decided to join. And it's a pleasure to be here. This is about the second or third India Global Chamber meeting that I'm attending, and I really am glad to be part of this. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Well, welcome, and thank you for joining. I don't see any other hands. Is there anybody else that would like to make some comments before we give it back to Manoj to make any final remarks? And hearing none, I'd like to turn it back over to you, Manoj. We're at the end of the hour, and we can go longer if you'd like, but normally we run these for an hour. What else would you like to say, maybe either in summary? Would you like to react to anything that you've heard today? And then let us know what you'd like to do next.
Yes, Doug, yeah, we would like to just close by saying that I think we have all good thoughts. Let's create the WhatsApp group with the India chapters. I think that's a great idea, Lokesh gave, and we'll take that offline. Secondly, there's one large, besides whatever else we discussed, how to create membership growth, etc. We'll have that conversation. And one more thought which came to me before we close is that besides, there are a lot of these exhibitions happening in India. So chambers of commerce, they have that. And many of them give us pro bono space. So as we go along, we could have a team to put our booth over there of Global Chamber and put the forms, etc., and have somebody there, and maybe we could be present over there, if not everywhere, but have our associate go there. That gives us visibility, that gives us access to more people in the footfall, and probably can lead to more, if not immediate membership, then that, conversation, and ensure that even if wherever we are not present, our Global Chamber logo is omnipresent wherever we go, in every platform, whether we are there or no. So if that happens, then that visibility comes in, and guys should get curious and saying, hey, what is this organization? We want to be part of it, and start a conversation. I would like to close on that comment, and then let action speak louder than words.
That sounds
Adding
great.
to Manoj, Doug, I can create a calendar for the events happening in Delhi. For example, there's a big international gift fair which comes in March this time. Usually it happens in February. It's the largest international gift fair for Indian exporters from the largest chamber of commerce like Export Promotion Council of Handicrafts. I can create a calendar for next 3 months with what is coming in New Delhi.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, one of the things that we'll work with the new Global Chamber Executive Director for Delhi, Devapriya Khanna, is to get you two connected. So have you met Devapriya before, or have you been? Okay. So she's just coming up similar to several of you right now in the training. And so that'll be, I think, a key part of the next steps. I forgot Cesar in the sense of he probably certainly has some comments if you're available, Cesar. Do you have anything that you would like to comment before we close the room? And maybe Shankar, you also may have something as well. Cesar, are you there? Do you have anything you'd like to say? And I see Artie pointing as well, so we'll get to you as well.
Shankar, you please go ahead. I will.
Okay, so sorry, if feel free to jump in if you are unmuted, right? So go ahead.
Nothing special, but I want to thank everyone for joining today, and Manoj, I've been listening, and I think I was like, oh my God, listening to Manoj is like he's been an executive director for over a year, and he's not. So he has his ideas very clear, and so I look forward to working together.
He should be training us, not us training him.
That's what I was thinking like that. Yes, exactly.
Thank you. Shankar, you want to go next, please?
Yeah, I just wanted to take on from the fact that we can create a WhatsApp group. I also think since executive directors have the same challenges, there needs to be a 1-month event between the EDs across India. So they can discuss, they can sort it out amongst themselves, like an ED meetup. It can be quite fulfilling, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Rotating between the cities.
I mean, the advisors are there, but what I think is there are 5 executive directors who can meet once in a month for half an hour or 45 minutes and exchange notes. It can be quite helpful, profitable.
Well, and I think the other thing you spurred my thought process, because this has been on my mind too. I figured at some point in India, when we had somewhat of a little bit of a critical mass of cities, that the next step is where else do we need to be? And Kolkata is an example, or Chennai, and there's so many other cities, Hyderabad, where we have people, global advisors and members, but we don't have a leader. And you all have extensive networks. And so as you become more and more knowledgeable about what it takes to be an executive director, please, feel free to reach out to people, introduce us to people. Let's get a full team built out in India like we have in other countries. So I think that also, I'll add that to the list. It's actually up to 10, and I'll circle that out. RT, I think you had something else.
No, I just wanted to say that I second what Mr. Manoj Gursani ji said about the, I know I have not got the chance to introduce myself, but regarding the logo presence, since I have become a member with Global Chambers, I have always seen to it that Global Chamber logo is always promoted on all my events. And secondly, in the upcoming event of mine, the Pharma and Healthcare Expo in Goa in month of May, I would like to have a small space, a small stall for the Global Chambers. So what he's saying is, I completely understand and agree with him. Until and unless we don't show the value addition we would be doing to each and every individual, it will be little difficult to promote our membership. So yes, that would be, in that part, I will contribute from my own way in promoting Global Chambers in all my events and exhibitions. That's all the feedback I wanted to give.
We look forward to working with you on that. Thank you for your support and collaboration. Thank you, RT.
Thank you.
I think we're at the end, so I don't have anything other than to say, wow, thank you for sharing today. This meeting was not what I expected. It turned out to be much, much better than my expectations. So sometimes, it's good to walk into a room and have low expectations or good expectations, and very happy that this group of leaders, led by Manoj today with your keynote and your comments, has inspired, I think, all of us to do better, be better, and impact more. That's what Global Chamber is all about, is to have more impact. We can have impact if we're just working locally. All of you do, and all of you even have impact globally, but we can be so much more together across metros around the world. And that's certainly my focus over the next couple decades, is how can we continue to grow and impact and improve trade so that we can improve people's prosperity, community prosperity, but also a better understanding around the world. So thank you all for participating today. Manoj, you're the leader here today, so I'd like to turn it back over to you for any other final comment you have, and then we'll close the room, please.
No, I think in the interest of time, I think Doug summarized it very well. Like to close, and as you said, let actions speak louder than words. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Actions speak louder than words. Great way to end it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.
We'll be in touch.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Yes. Bye. Thank you.